They're out. They're out with their running back Brian Robinson. He's out. So it's going to be really on him, and Austin Eckler is going to have to step up as well. But I just don't see them winning in Baltimore. I think it'll be close. I think they'll cover, but I don't think they're going to win. I think
I feel really good about my pick since you all three went against me. Listen, Jaden Daniels is no Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott lost to the Baltimore Ravens. I don't see where you guys think all of a sudden Jaden Daniels is going to start throwing the ball all over the place and be a good throwing quarterback. He's not right now. He's just not. So anyway, I feel good about my pick right now. That's all I got to say. Arizona +5 at Green Bay. I don't think anybody touched this game. What are your thoughts, Jack?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, this is considered a trap game for the Packers actually at home against Arizona, because Arizona has shown a lot of upside. And, but I got to go with the Packers. If you think the Packers are going to win the Super Bowl the way I do, ultimately, that's my pick to win it all. How do you pick Arizona at home against Green Bay? Unless you want to cop out the way I'm going to do and say, I would take Arizona with the points, even though I think Green Bay is going to, squeeze the game out. And we talk about these big contracts these quarterbacks have been given, whether they, can play up to it or not. But the Jordan Love contract, you talk about a gamble by the Packers. They didn't have really a big body of work with Jordan Love, even though I supported them giving him the contract, because if they didn't, there'd be a reasonable chance they could lose him in free agency. So they paid up. And I got to go with Green Bay there at home. I want to see Kyler Murray utilizing Marvin Harrison a little better, because if Harrison's this generational talent, somehow he's not utilizing him as well as, let's say, Daniel Jones was using Malik Nabers with the Giants before Nabers got hurt.
Sonia, Arizona plays up to its competition. They always seem to do that. I mean, they'll play bad against you look at what they did, against San Francisco. And anytime they play a good team, their level raises. When they play a bad team, it kind of sinks down. They're in Green Bay. I'm not sure what the weather is up there. It's probably, I would imagine, a little cold. I don't know how Arizona will play in the cold. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm still not 100% sold on Arizona, to be honest. I'm actually surprised at the level of the game they've been playing so far. But I have to keep reminding myself, we still are in the first quadrant of the season. Like, we're not even halfway through or no, I mean, but I'm not sold on Arizona getting it done regardless, and especially not against Green Bay, the way Jordan Love's been playing. Now that he's back, from this little small injury he had, that team is pretty solid. I don't know if I agree with Jack about them, quote, winning it all. I'm not ready to go all in like that, but the NFC North as a whole is a very good division. And so Arizona on the road, I don't think they have the best stats. I didn't look, but I don't think they have the best stats on the road anyway. And like I just, began to say, I'm not sold on them, having this stellar season. I feel like right now it's a game-to-game situation with Arizona.
Yeah, Mac, I just took a look at the weather in Green Bay. It's going to be in the low 50s a high. That's not exactly the type of weather that's going to affect you negatively. It's perfect for football.
That's not bad at all. And folks, this is brought to you by Bet Us. You can bet on all the games. Today, tomorrow night, Sunday night, you can bet during the game. That's the QR code at the top right of the screen. Just screen it with your phone. It'll bring you right there. James, the Arizona Cardinals are a scrappy team. Their defense is aggressive. Their running game is very good. And if Kyler Murray's running with the ball, too, it's even better. I mean, I don't know why everybody's thinking Arizona won't at least cover this.
No, I think they should cover. I think the game's going to be close. It's going to be a matter of who turns the ball over least. I just think anybody who commits like an interception or a fumble or something like that, that's going to be a team that loses, because Arizona is such a wild card team. Like you said in the beginning, they just seem to play up to their competition. I mean, if their team's really good, they're going to play up to them. But if they're pretty bad, they're not going to play good at all. And I just think they're not consistent. But in this game, if they don't commit many turnovers, they have an opportunity to win the game. But I think, and especially with Jair Alexander being out, going up against that's Green Bay's best corner. I mean, I'm not saying he's out; he's questionable. So whether or not he's out or not, I'm not sure. Marvin Harrison Jr. needs to step up too as well. But I like the way Kyler Murray's playing right now. He's got some pretty decent numbers. He's keeping his turnovers low, so that might be the key for them to possibly win this game. But at home, I'm going to give the advantage to Green Bay, but I think the Cardinals cover the spread.
Yeah, I think so too. Luke, their tight end, Luke Musgrave is out, so that's yeah, and he had a heck of a game last week, man. If this guy I'm thinking of, I think number 85. I think he got a couple touchdowns as a big runner after catching the ball. So we'll see if that affects him or not. So we got Tampa Bay going against New Orleans. Tampa Bay given New Orleans. No, they're getting 3 points. So New Orleans is the underdog, and we know what James' thought is. Jack says Rattler is going to be the next quarterback this year after even if
no, he probably won't be. No, he won't be no matter what. If he has a few really good games, but I'm saying when Derek Carr comes back, if Rattler's played extremely well, Carr's going to be under a lot of pressure, more so than now, without question. Because if he doesn't play well going forward by the end of the year, and the Saints are in contention and their offense is holding back a bit, I mean, Rattler's going to all of a sudden become an option. He's not an option. He wouldn't have been an option if Carr didn't get hurt. But he could, they'll take a look into the future and say, we think Rattler could be our guy. So Carr's days would be numbered. That doesn't mean he wouldn't be the quarterback next year to start off. But there'd be a controversy in New Orleans.
Sonia, I don't think James, who is definitely homer picking here. Listen to these injuries. I said them fast before.
I was just
quarterback here. I'm talking to Sonia James right now. Please, thank you. Don't be rude. Okay, Derek Carr is out with an oblique injury. Safety Will Harris is out with a hamstring. Tyson Hill is out with ribs. Safety Cesar Ruiz is out with a knee injury. Linebacker Pete Werner is out with an ankle hamstring. So all those players are out. Tampa Bay is pretty much healthy, and James is thinking by some way in hell, shake, rattle, and roll is going to do something here, and they're gonna end up beating Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay by 2 scores, easy, Sonia.
Yeah. So first, let me start off by saying I was going to mention those injuries. Taysom Hill being out is a huge void for that team because he plays so many versatile positions. James reminds me of myself last year when I kept picking our team because I just felt so bad about betting against us. But it's okay. You'll learn soon, James. This is a division rival. This is that. During that being said, I don't know about the other divisions, but at least for the South, we step up and play a different way when there's competition within the division. With that being said, Baker Mayfield has already turned his oven on to preheat. He will definitely be baking at game time. And not only that, he has turned it up so high that it's going to be into broiler status by the time his game is over with. The Saints have absolutely too many positions that are open. I know that everybody banks on Alvin Kamara and, his little crew to get it done. But I just don't think with it being a division matchup, with it being very little, I don't even think we've heard of any injuries with Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay is one of these teams that you got to look out for. Like, they are pretty quiet, but they get these wins regardless. Like, we've seen it like since last year. And so I just think and then let's mention Spencer Rattler. I mean, yeah, he's a decent quarterback, but he's not the quarterback of the Saints. He has not earned that starting position. That being said, I definitely feel like that's the reason why New Orleans is the underdog and that they gave New Orleans points just to make it an interesting game. I think this is going to be lights out. I see at least a probably 8-point win for Tampa Bay, and I congratulate them in advance for taking care of the foolishness.
Well, I got to say there's a next fact in this game that no one's talking about.
Ooh, I can't wait for the Falcons-Panthers take.
Yeah. Make sure you're not still overcome with grief from the earlier game and that you're able to watch it. Your eyes may be swollen from tears.
Yeah, I was saying there's a next
From
fact in this game that no one is really talking about. The hurricane. Tampa Bay was kind of displaced for a number of days. Normally they would be working out, in Tampa, and then they'd be flying to the game. They had to go somewhere earlier. And a lot of the players who live in Tampa, believe me, they're worried about what they had to go back to. The ones that have homes, they have this, they have that. They have things on their mind outside of football, a number of them as well. They're trying to focus on the game, be professional. But I know when you're the victim of a hurricane, and you had to shelter from that, you're kind of displaced for a little while. So that could work in New Orleans' favor, conceivably.
I mean, that is true. And I just realized that Tampa Bay actually took the first direct hit from a hurricane in over a century. Like, it was catastrophic there, and they had not seen that, at least in any of our lifetimes, so that's pretty much, I forgot about that element. Of course, we are very mindful of the impact that Florida has gone through as a whole, but especially, like you said, the Tampa Bay area, many families still displaced or, unaccounted for. So it's pretty sad. So I'm sure that definitely isn't there.
We have Houston at New England. Again, Drake May's first start. Their running back is out. Their number one running back. I don't know who the backup is. Keith is not inspired at all about this game. I don't think he's looking forward to it. What do you guys? I mean, I don't think any of us. Jack picked it. Jack,
Houston should cover. For New England to win a cover, their defense is going to have to come up with a really big effort.
Huge.
I mean,
huge.
Then New England's not going to be able to run the ball, and they don't have much of a passing game as is. Drake May is going to have to do a lot with his feet. D'Amico Ryan, the Texan coach, is one of the brilliant defensive minds. Maybe Drake May is going to be a great quarterback down the road, and he comes in and makes a sensational debut. I mean, who knows? But I don't see how New England, is going to keep the game even that close unless their defense comes up with a monumental effort.
Yeah. And Texas more than one weapon, right? They have a lot more than one weapon, so it's gonna be interesting. I would agree with you, Jack. Anybody has anything different? Anybody think that New England? I mean, it could happen. There's upsets all over the damn place, right? So it's in New England. Anybody think that New England has a chance?
No.
There's a puncher's chance. I mean, there's always a miracle that can occur, in life.
Why you didn't say that about the Panthers?
Well, we haven't gotten to you yet, man. It's coming.
No, it's a little different today. No, let me tell you why. There's going to be more energy, at Gillette Stadium than normal because of Drake May's debut. So there's going to be a lot of energy in that stadium, and maybe that transfers over to the players on New England. Consider that factor.
Maybe they at least cover. We'll see. Good morning, Jason. Glad you dropped in this morning.
Well, let me say this. They have Houston has the most pressures of the league in anybody. They pressure almost 42%. They pressure the most in the league, so that's going to be tough. But I think he possibly can do something. Just not enough to cover the spread, though.
It's a good thing that he's played at that percent, then, right? So anyway, we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be a very interesting game. Cleveland plus 9.5 at Philadelphia. I think Jameson Winston is starting. That's what I heard. I've heard it through the grapevine. I haven't seen anything official on that. I know when Deshaun Watson quit last week, there was something that happened, and I heard something. I'm not sure, Jack, don't quote me on this, but I heard that maybe Jameson Winston might play. Now, anybody out there that's listening, wait a minute, anybody out there listening knows for sure, please let me know, because I'm not sure. I think James is looking it up for us anyway.
They would have announced it, Cleveland, earlier. They're not going to announce. No, Jamie is. But I do think before the day is out, there's a good chance Jamie and Winston does play, because no one's been a bigger Deshaun Watson supporter as a player than me. Okay, I said this year he was going to have a nice rebound year, reestablish himself. He's been awful. There's no way of getting around it. I'm not making excuses for many, but maybe he'll be good again. I'm not giving up on him, permanently. But for now, if Cleveland hopes to salvage their season, they got to go to Jameis Winston at this point. But I'd start Deshaun Watson today. If he's struggling, they got to take him out. We're going to have a big storyline in this game with the Eagles and Browns before the day's over. The storyline is either going to be Deshaun Watson and Nick Sirianni, because if the Eagles lose, we're going to be hearing it about Sirianni, his job being in danger. Is he going to be fired this week or whatever? And if Deshaun Watson struggles, I don't think he makes it through the game. And even if he does, the calls are going to be so loud for Jameis Winston to start that he'll be named the starter next week.
So, Jack, what is your pick against the spread? Cleveland plus 9.5.
I'll have to feel Deshaun Watson's been so bad with that Cleveland offense, and it's not completely his fault. He really doesn't have the weapons. And don't tell me about Amari Cooper, etc. And I think the Eagles win the Eagles are favored by what, 9?
9.5.
9. I think the Eagles will win by 10. How's that? That the Eagles will actually cover. They'll win something like 20-10. Cleveland's defense will keep them competitive at least, but the Eagles will cover.
So Sonia just came out, and this is true because I did read this, that they did settle that last lawsuit that was brought up that they were going to bring before the NFL. It's not coming up. They would have gave Cleveland an option if they did investigate it to, put him on exempt list and maybe get rid of that contract. Well, the woman settles. Deshaun Watson continues to play. Again, I think Watson, and there's going to be more coming, trust me. Folks, there's like 60 out there from what I heard. There's going to be more of these women coming forward, and it's going to keep weighing on this guy. This guy is shot. Watson is shot. And I don't want to hear he has no weapons. He's got receivers and tight ends to throw to. I don't want to hear that. What do you think about this game, Sonia? This is a reprieve for Philadelphia. If they can't, unless Jameis Winston comes in and he plays out of his mind, this is a gimme game for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Even with Jameis, let me go back. Deshaun Watson is mentally done, honestly. He's mentally shot. Like, you have to think, even if it's one thing to be, I want to use the word liable because we're talking about civil as opposed to the criminal aspect that could happen. So there's guilt for criminal, little lawyer plug for y'all today. There's guilt for criminal and there's liability for civil. The fact that these liable matters could be criminal if they were not settled and agreed to on a civil side. Either side has to be mentally taxing for Deshaun Watson. Even if you are not guilty of a criminal offense, the fact that you are signing and settling civilly with someone indicates that there's a level of at least evidence that is there that is enough that if it was criminal, you could be convicted and then you're arrested and all that stuff and you're out of the league regardless. I feel like this case, this is just me personally, should not have been settled because he does need to be out of Cleveland. Cleveland has wasted every resource they had. They stood by him. They did this big press conference that no matter what, he was their guy and that they were going to pay him. And his performance is starting to show. We've seen the injury, so we couldn't see what he looked like last year completely. Now he's coming in and we see the performance that is slow. It is horrible. It's like a roller coaster. You see him throw a couple of good picks and good passes, and then he's back to like nothing. I don't care if he puts up 1,000 yards for the season. He is shot for Cleveland, and this would have been their opportunity to move on from him if they had let the process continue on. They did not. Like you said, Mac, there's going to be so many more women, even if it's somebody that has an inkling, like, oh, okay, you know what? Before he was a football star, I think this happened, so let me just go ahead and put it out there. Cleveland has done themselves a huge disservice because they have put themselves in a category that is they're unable to come out of. And if they did try to come out, of this contract outside of the ramifications we're talking about. They're going to be in breach of contract with Deshaun. He could turn around and still get paid for that money. So it's a no-win situation right now. Jameis Winston coming in, I'm going to move on to that part. Jameis Winston has not been high caliber since his initial Tampa Bay game days. Let's look at it. He's been throughout the league here or there as a backup quarterback. He has some lights out moments, but at the end of the day, he is not a leader of that team. Cleveland has, I think they had Joe Flacco in there last year to try to save the day a couple of times. I mean, they may grab Bryce Young at this point. Who knows? But Cleveland that game is not going to even be worth breathing to watch today. It's probably going to be more than 9 points. They're probably going to be more like 14 points in this game if Philly gets it done. And if they don't, that says something about Philly because, we've seen them play very subpar lately as well. Something's still clearly going on with that.
There is. There's no doubt about it. They're still going to have the problems, even if they win this game by the spread. James, he quit on the team last week. He walked off the field when they were going for it. He said, "No, I'm good." And they ended up kicking the field goal. He quit. Well, I say Cleveland, quit on him. Quit on him. Get rid of him. Sit him on the bench. Make him retire. Who cares?
That may have been a miscommunication.
Jack, it wasn't miscommunication. Everybody else stayed on the field but him.
Right.
The whole offense was there. He walked off the field, took his helmet off. So, he just quit. That is not a quarterback. That's not a leader. He shouldn't be there. Winston has thrown for 5,000 yards in the past. I know his interception problem. So does Deshaun Watson. Have him sit down, make him retire, whatever you got to do. Pay him off. Move on. It's time to move on for this guy, James.
It was clearly evident that he did quit on the team. I just never seen that before. He pat the coach on the back and walked to the sideline.
Yeah.
It's disappointing. I'll be honest with you. I think there's an opportunity for him to bounce back, but it's going to be very small to nothing. I just don't know what to say about that. But speaking on the Eagles, if Sirianni loses this game, because Deshaun Watson has yet to throw not even close to 200 yards. He hasn't even thrown for 200 yards yet. They're getting both Devontae, what's Devontae's last name? I can't think.
Adams.
No. Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith.
Devonta, yeah.
Devonta Smith, and they're getting also their big main guy, AJ Brown, back. So if you can't win against the Cleveland Browns with your weapons back in order, I don't know what to say. I think that the coach needs to be really in question. He's probably going to be on a hot seat. But I like the Eagles to cover the spread. I just don't think Cleveland. I think Jameis Winston is capable. And he can come in, but he's not coming in right now. He's not the starter. So we'll see if it'll be yet to be determined if he comes in mid-game if Deshaun quits again.
Well, there's a school of thought that ownership is forcing Cleveland to play Deshaun Watson. Stefanski, the coach. But, when you're paying a guy that much money, he's got to really, really be terrible to be taken on. Watson has been terrible, let's be honest about it. But this game, something is going to go down. Maybe Deshaun Watson has a great game, and who's going to get the blame? Nick Sirianni.
Yeah,
and if Watson has a bad game, he has to be out. If he really did quit on the team, and my impression was it was a miscommunication, but if he really did quit on the team, what on earth is he doing starting this week? I don't get it. If he really did quit on him.
He did quit on that play, that's for sure. When is Chubb coming back? Would you come back if you were Chubb with that offensive line right now?
Isn't he out for the year?
No, he's eligible to come back. He's come off he's off the PUP list, but he's still saying he's not. They're still saying he's not ready to play. If I'm Nick Chubb, I'm not playing. That offensive line stinks. They can't run the ball. They can't pass protect. His knee's just coming back from that 2 knee injuries.
Well, he's been hurt a few times.
I am not playing.
I thought he was going to sit out the rest of the year.
4 weeks. It was 4 weeks. He was on the PUP list. 4 weeks.
And he's probably not going to be the same anyway because he's had multiple injuries.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't come back. I would. I think I want to be able to play again. I'd stay out for the year if I was him. I would.
Thanks for that plug about AJ Brown, J Train, because I had him on my fantasy on IR, so I just moved him. So thank you.
All right. Yeah, well, we got AJ Brown too back. That's on our fantasy football team that we're not talking about.
I'm in a group with my brother-in-law and them. I can't.
Anyway, the Colts plus 1.5 at Tennessee. Listen, what do you guys think? I mean, James, I think Levis is he still a starting quarterback? Did they move Mason Rudolph in there yet? I mean, but
No,
no,
he's still.
yeah. Okay, who's winning? I mean, you got Indianapolis plus 2.5 at Tennessee.
So look, AR is back, and he and Will Levis lead the league in interceptions with 6. So whoever throws the least interception this game is probably going to win the game. It's just pretty bad on both ends. Now, mind you, Titans have the #1 defense, but they just don't have anything on offense to help them. I like the Titans to win this game, but win it by maybe 2 points.
And for people out there, AR is Anthony Richardson. James, since he wore his shades today, he's just using all these abbreviations that nobody understands. If you haven't been with us, that's what he's doing. Jack, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, Anthony Richardson versus Levis. It should be a really interesting game.
Yeah, I'm not high on either one, but I'm high on Anthony Richardson than I am on Will Levis. And Anthony Richardson is going to ever learn how to play within the system that the Colts set up. The Colts have one of the best offensive lines in football, but somehow Anthony Richardson, he strays away from that. I just think the Colts are a better team. I'm not impressed with, Tennessee. Not at all. I think Colts should win something like 24-14. They should cover.
Sonia, do you want to answer that question for Sean Spencer?
Will Richardson be able to stay healthy? Will he be able to stay? No, I just don't see it. It's going to be a short answer for me. No,
I don't either. That's the exact answer. What are your thoughts on the game? And remember, Jonathan Taylor is out, folks. So the main running back is out, and I don't know how that's going to swing in that way. What do you think?
I mean, I still just am not sold on Will Levis. Like he throws as many interceptions as he does passes sometimes. And so with that being said, that's what the detriment for me is. Even though they're at home in Tennessee, this is a rival, their divisional rival for them as well. And so I feel like, even without Richardson, I can't even remember who their backup was last year. They looked more. Jacoby Brissett was there for a minute. They just Gardner Minshew, I think, was there. It's just been a quarterback carousel for real. But any of that, even the water boys coming in may be able to pull this one out.
Joe Flacco will be fine if he's in there. He'll be fine. He might be a better fit than Anthony.
Joe Flacco.
Oh yeah. So they're getting dependable Mighty Joe out there. So he may have a glimpse of his Baltimore days out there, and we may see a big. They'll definitely cover the spread.
If Flacco comes in, has a good game, Mac is going to be saying he thinks Indy should consider making Flacco their starter going forward. Richardson.
He should be his starter.
You'll do that, Mac.
He should be his starter right now. What is Richardson even doing touching the ball?
Right.
Last game he threw 3 interceptions. He gets hurt. Take him out. Put the real quarterback in. That only makes sense.
Let me say just this real quick. You guys ever remember how in professional office jobs, they'll have a floater secretary or a floater person that just comes in and alleviates responsibilities. Even in textile industries, they always have someone that comes in and just helps out just anybody that needs help. That's what Joe Flacco is. He's an NFL floater. He literally has we might be getting him in Carolina if things don't turn around soon. He just goes team to team, does a couple of games here and there.
Everybody's Carolina. Sonia's out there. Flacco's everyone. It's crazy.
I just want to be on the team, get my check.
He's everywhere.
Oh Lord. Oh look, but the problem is what's going to happen at the end of the game. I guarantee you, this is what's going to happen. You're going to have Levis who's going to throw the ball behind his back to the other guy. They're going to run for a touchdown, and the Colts will win the game. He's done it 3 times so far.
Here's a nugget, Max. Excuse me. Tony Pollard had 108 scrimmage yards. And that porous defense for the Colts might allow him to feast as well this game.
Yeah. It's possible. We'll see. We'll see what happens. This is going to be really interesting. I think I won't watch this game. I'll look at the highlights. I'm not interested in that game at all. The Chargers.
I've been sitting down watching Indianapolis against Tennessee, just sitting and watching the whole game.
No.
That should be your punishment, Mac.
Robert Butler will be doing that for me. He's watching the Tennessee Titans for me.
Yeah. Y'all see how the Tennessee Titans pulled up today, got that win. I'm Robert Butler with Sports Scope.
Right. Yes, he is. And he's one of the best at it. The Los Angeles Chargers -3.5 at Denver. Two pretty good defenses. I mean, I honestly, Denver will get pressure on Herbert, who is kind of hobbling. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know who's going to win this game. I think I'll give you who I'll take. I'll take Denver with the points. I'm not sure if they're going to win or not. But with Herbert hobbled, that Denver defense, their running game is pretty good. I think their number one running back is still out, if I'm not mistaken. But they got a couple good ones. So I'll take Denver with the points in this. What do you think, James?
The same. That's one of my picks. I just think the home field advantage is what the main decided factor will be. Both defenses are good. The Chargers have a number 5 ranked overall defense and number 3 for the Broncos. I think they keep rolling. They're going to win.
Okay. What do you think, Sonia? I'm going to let Jack go last on this for this time because he'll take the longest.
Yeah, I see Sean Spencer's comment about Bo Nix, and I probably would say the same thing. However, I'm just going to highlight the fact that I have not seen Jim Harbaugh in his Jim Harbaugh elements since he's come back to the NFL. I have not seen that big, spectacular. Oh, it's one of the Harbaugh coaches, and he's a winning coach. His quarterback is always on point and things like that. The JH connection, Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh. I have not seen that. Sean Payton and his squad last week looked pretty good. They've looked better than they have in a long time for that to be Denver. They look like they may be gaining their footing. I think that this is I hate to say no-brainer, but I'm going to say no-brainer that Denver would get it done today, especially because Justin Herbert has just not played lights out as well. As a matter of fact, he hasn't even played light switch, so yeah.
Yeah. Jack,
yes.
Jack, the saying is get to know Bo. That's the new saying. Get to know Bo, because Bo is going to be the future quarterback of the Denver Broncos, and he's getting better every week. What do you think?
He couldn't get much worse. He didn't do anything. He still hasn't done much. I mean, come on, getting better every week. I mean, it's like he's gaining a penny every week. He's not a sensation. I mean, Bo Nix would be a backup on most teams. I mean, come on.
He threw for 2 touchdowns last week, Jack. What are you talking about? He threw for 2 touchdowns last week.
He's been so at best. There's nothing special what Bo Nix has been doing. They've been winning on defense, Denver, for the most part. I mean, he might develop into a good quarterback. He's a rookie. Give him time. But he hasn't created a buzz, Bo Nix. Maybe his personality, because he argued with Sean Payton on the sideline, and he talked back to Sean Payton. So that's like headline news. And he's Sean Payton's quarterback. So Sean Payton's smart enough to know he can't discipline Bo Nix. I mean, he's not going to put in Stidham, a Wilson, instead. So he has to live with Bo Nix. And Bo Nix, give him time to improve. He might be a good quarterback in time. He's a rookie. Justin Herbert. A couple of years ago, he was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Sonia mentions a good point. No one's talking about Justin Herbert. Is he the player he was? I know he was hurt for a while, and I know we hear the excuse, the Charger offensive line. Jim Harbaugh is going to try to protect him to a large degree because the Chargers' strategies to keep running the ball, keep pounding it. And so we could look for a low-scoring game here. I could see a 16-15 type game.
I agree.
I mean, I could see the Chargers actually eking this game out, but Denver's more appealing to take with the 3 points at home.
Okay, Pittsburgh -3 at Las Vegas. Sonia, did you take Pittsburgh with me this week or no? Did you take Pitt? Or did
I did.
all right? You took Pitt.
Yeah, I didn't pick that game.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So me and James. I know we're on the same page here. What do you think, Jack? We got Pittsburgh, who looked pretty good in the second half. Las Vegas looks just, I don't know what's going on with the Raiders right now.
Yeah, Pittsburgh coming off a couple of losses. That's going to help them in this game. They're going to steady the ship. And it's apparent now that they're going to roll with Justin Fields as their starter. That's actually good news for Russell Wilson, that they're going to, because to put Russell Wilson in with the team familiar with Justin Fields for now, it may have messed up the chemistry. It may have created a little negative buzz with the fan base and the players, of course. Then that's more important. But now if Justin Fields struggles, they can easily put Russell Wilson in, and Russell Wilson won't be under the same microscope. He won't be under the same pressure, and he could provide better veteran leadership than if you started him right now. The talk now is the Raiders might not trade Davante Adams. They're driving a hard bargain. They want a number 2 draft choice, and no one has blinked yet. No one wants to give a number 2. And maybe one of the teams become desperate. If one of their elite receivers goes down with an injury, a contending team, and they call the Raiders up and they say, we'll pay his salary. But with the cap, that's going to be hard, and they'll give them the draft capital. And also reportedly, Davante Adams likes Aiden O'Connell, who's now going to be starting over Gardner Minshew because they had good chemistry at the end of last year. So, but Pittsburgh should win this game, and they should cover. Just giving 3 points away, I mean, it's hard for me to, make a case for the Raiders.
Well, so Adams actually said he would retire if they don't trade him. So if he doesn't get traded by the deadline, he said he wants to retire. So anyway,
he wants his money, man.
I'm just telling you what I read, Jack. He said he'll retire. That's what the latest thing was from Davante Adams. Sonia, I mean, Davante Adams doesn't care about O'Connell or O'Donnell, whatever his name is anymore. He wants out. He wants out of Vegas, and nobody's gonna give him what they want. I mean, who wants? I mean, you got the Jets. Are the Jets really going to give all that money for a receiver that they're not going to win the Super Bowl with anyway? I don't think so. And just a quick update: the Bears were stopped their first drive down, and right now the Jacksonville Jags have just picked up their first down and are driving. Go ahead, Sonia.
Yeah, so I remember they were saying that the Jets were actually interested in Davante Adams during the offseason. But I don't know, that seems to have died down. He has, one of his BFFs that he had some canoeing incident with in college that he wanted to be reconciled with. So Davante has, put out there a couple of fillers, and he's hinted at it off and on for a while. Now that the Raiders are losing, let's be clear what this really is. As long as the locker room seemed steady, they had Antonio Pierce, a.k.a. Suge Knight Jr. out there. They felt like, they were getting it done and, West Coast this, West Coast that. Now that that's all died down, all the hype, and they're starting to take L's, the first one being at a number 31 team in the league. I won't say 32 because I think we moved her to 31 at least one time. We might be back 32. But anyway, taking that L right there can really do something for your confidence. And I think that was an eye-opener as to just how disorganized that franchise really is. And he wants out. Like you said, he wants out, or he's going to retire. And that's pretty strong at his age, to say, if you don't trade me, I'm just going to retire. Like, I'm going to quit the NFL as a whole. So it's just a lot going on. I think it's not just all the playing. I think it's just an unhappiness in the locker room overall. Like, that locker room is out of control. That's probably why they lose.
Guys, can you imagine?
Sonia, wait a minute, Jack. Sonia, if he retires, that means he doesn't get paid. But that don't mean he can't come back. Players have done that. Players have retired. That cancels the contract, and they come back and play again. It's a drastic measure, but players have done that in the past. But I do agree with you. The Vegas locker room or team is all in shambles. What do you got, Jack?
These prima donna wide receivers sometimes need to get taught a lesson. Can you imagine Davante Adams is chilling out and his phone rings. It's a GM of the Raiders. Devontae, you've just been traded to the Carolina Panthers. You know?
Oh, you're such a hater. You're such a hater. Yes, Jack.
That's what would be. He deserves
Exactly.
that.
That's right. I was thinking that, Jack. You really read my mind. I'm glad you said that.
He immediately thinks, who's going to throw me the ball? Andy Dalton, Bryce Young, and we can't go to the playoffs even.
Hey, listen, I don't know.
Hold on, Jack. You were doing well. Be careful. Be careful.
Wait a minute, Jack. Wait a minute, Jack.
We're doing well.
Jack. Andy Dalton, I think, might have a better passing rating than
Thank you.
Aaron
You got
Rodgers.
some nerve.
I don't know
with
what
that
you're
queen you got as a quarterback up
Yeah,
there
I know
in
what
New
you're
York.
talking about. So I love it when he talks about other quarterbacks, and his quarterback is like 29th or 30th.
I mean, let's be clear. Let's be clear. They just got the only thing that the Jets have is that queen up there for a quarterback. The only thing they got is his name and his name alone. Okay, Aaron Rodgers is not the Aaron Rodgers from Green Bay. And Jack, you need to face that music and stop attacking other quarterbacks and focus on your own house.
Tomorrow night, the Jets will be in first place. That's
of a garbage division. Of a garbage division.
The best fit for Devontae Adams actually would be the Kansas City Chiefs.
I agree with that.
Who really need an impact receiver. And the culture at Kansas City is so great. He would fit in. He wouldn't make any negative noise at all because of the culture over there. He would fall in line with whatever his role would be.
All right, so Detroit's going to Dallas. Does anybody here think that Dallas will beat Detroit?
No, that's my pick. They definitely ain't beating. No,
I don't think so.
Guys, they're in Dallas. Detroit, let me just throw this. Detroit was the pick of so many people to win the Super Bowl this year. But if they can't go into Dallas and beat a Cowboy team who has some guys out with injuries, what does this tell us about how good the Lions are? We know they'll still be a good team, but is there any separation between them and even anyone in their division? Because between the Lions, the Packers, the Vikings, and if the Bears on an upswing, who's going to blink in that division amongst the four teams? Could it maybe be the unthinkable? Could it be the Lions, the team that could blink and and be third or fourth in that division? Because if they can't beat this Cowboy team, how many elite teams are they going to beat?
It's possible.
It's still early in the season,
It's possible. And I would say it's possible because Jared Goff, his one Achilles heel is that he cannot take pressure. He cannot take pressure coming up the middle, and he gets rattled easily. If you can protect him, which they do have a great offensive line, but if you have an excellent interior in your pass rush, he gets disrupted and he gets razzled. And so if Dallas unfortunately doesn't have that right now. So I look for them to blow out Dallas. Honestly,
I don't think Dallas wins that. The Giants are Cincinnati is giving the Giants 3.5 at Giants stand. Guess what? Who's leading the league in sacks? That's right. The New York Giants are now. After the last 2 weeks, they are now leading the league in sacks. And I don't know.
You're welcome.
A lot of people are starting to jump on the Giant bandwagon, which I don't like. Stay away from my Giants. You're going to put a hex on them. You're going to put a hex on them. Listen, Burrows, 2 wide receivers. It's basically the same thing as against Seattle last week. I think the Bengals receivers are a little bit better than Seattle's receivers. So the Giants defensive backfield has a lot to cut up to put up against. Cincinnati really doesn't have a good pass rush. Giants they also have the top 3 offensive linemen in the top 5 as far as in the offensive line category. So the Giants offensive line is playing out of its mind. They got a running game with a rookie running back now. What do you guys think? And again, of course, Malik Neighbors is out again. I know me and James took the Giants. Sonia and Jack, I don't know. You didn't. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, the Bengals season's on the line. Thibodeau's out for the Giants as well. Even though I've been a critic of his, it does affect their pass rush to an extent. And Neighbors being out, I mean, that's the primary weapon for Daniel Jones. And it's I got to believe Cincinnati with their season on the line, is going to win. I could see a high-scoring game even with Neighbors out because Cincinnati's defense has been a bit erratic. But they should cover the Bengals. I mean, they're favored by like 3.5. I could see a 34-24 type game. Joe Burrow having the big breakout game with the season on the line. And they have played well enough to win their offense a couple of games where their defense let them down, the Bengals.
Sonia, Joe Burrows has had breakout games the last 3 weeks. Cincinnati's season has been on the line last couple of weeks, and they keep losing. They're going to the Giants Stadium. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't have this as one of my picks, but I don't think the Giants are going to pull this one out. I think Cincinnati really it's their time. They've got to try to win a game, like you said. Joe Burrows, does not look like the Joe Burrows we saw. This is, passing the first quadrant of the season. It's time for players to start stepping it up. And this is going to be where he has his comeback. Like you guys said, Malik Neighbors is out. Even though, Giants are collecting their signatures for bandwagon applicants, I certainly won't be one. And so Cincinnati is going to get this one done. I do think that the point spread is probably accurate, but I think this one's going to swing in Cincinnati's direction.
And I appreciate all those words coming. You said the same thing last week, and you went 0-3, and you just changed yourself.
Well, I didn't pick them. I didn't pick them where it counts, okay? I can verbalize my opinion.
You can do it.
By the end of this season without picks, Sonia will be out of the race, but she'll be like picking for pride.
You guys
know what I mean?
So horrible.
Like a team playing for pride.
I think Sonia turns around. I think Sonia turns around.
Thank you, man.
I don't know.
Jack, you're the worst.
Like a rebuilding year.
It's a rebuilding year.
Yeah.
So you're saying me and my team. So you're saying that my record is like my Panthers record? That's what you're trying to say?
Well, Panthers, they won 1 game. They won 2 last year. Panthers will exceed 2 victories this year. Before the year's over, they'll win a couple of more games. Maybe they might win up to 4 games.
Picks are like my record for my team.
Panthers are going to come on a little bit. I think they'll win a few games before the year's over.
So right now the Bears held as it was 4th and goal. So Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, Trevor Lawrence hit number 0 right in the chest with the ball. He just dropped it. So it looks like the Jags will be kicking a field goal to probably take the lead here.
Well, that's why I don't like some of these stats. You look at a line and you see a quarterback threw 3 interceptions, but if 2 of them went through one of the receiver's hands, come on. There should be a different stat or something.
We've talked.
And certain interceptions you might throw deep on 3rd down, and it's the same nearly as punting if the player intercepted. You take a shot down the field, but
it is what it is, right? I mean, me and Jack, we've talked about that forever, that maybe that shouldn't be included in stats, but that's the way it is. Buffalo -1.5 at the Jets. I know Jack took this one. Did anyone else? I know Sonia took the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
So they had their say. James, what are your thoughts? Oh, you said the Jets too, didn't you? Did you?
No, I did not. Right. I did not. But I'm going to say it now.
Yes,
I think the Jets are going to win. I think we're not sure if Khalil Shakir is playing. That's a big deal for Buffalo. I think he needs his receiver. He needs his tight end. But he got James Cook. We'll see. But they're playing in New York. I mean, I just think that defense is still stout. It's going to be kind of weird to see.
Where are they stout? Where? They were stout. They're not stout this year. They're not even top 5 anymore. I mean, their defense is not playing that well.
Offensively, nobody's scoring like on them, like talking about it. I mean,
Aaron
Rodgers.
Jets are playing well. The
Jets defense is very good. They're not what they were last year. You can run on the Jets defense. I mean, you can look. I know. I've already heard. I've already looked it up. I'm not going to look it up again right now. The Jets defense is not as good as it was last year. Sauce Gardner is not playing as good as he did last year. It's a fact. They're not. They're not playing as well as they did last year.
They're garbage. They are the Panthers of the AFC East or North or whatever y'all division is.
Defense has played well.
Y'all ain't even no real New York team. Y'all New Jersey.
So anyway, listen, you know what I think. Anyway, I think Buffalo wins this by at least a touchdown. I think Aaron Rodgers throws a bunch of interceptions. They're not going to run the ball again. What they'll do is they'll turn around, and you got a defensive coach who is now a head coach. You got a new defensive coordinator. That staff is a mess. Hackett's not there. We got a new offensive. It's just all messed up. It's as bad as the Raiders coaching staff right now. They don't know
when the Jet game is going on, the Yankees are going to be playing at Yankee Stadium, game one of the American Championship Series. And
yes, very good. So anyway, that's it for the picks, folks. Thank you very much.
No, it's not. Hello. Nobody talked about the Panthers. Are you serious right now, Mac? You skipped over us.
I skipped it. I was trying to not get you embarrassed, Sonia. I'm trying to look out for you because Jack's going to make fun of it.
I don't give a frick. We are a
make fun of them, and
you
then
will
James is
recognize
going to
that we
make
are
fun
a
of them.
team. You will
Go ahead. You can have your little say, Sonia, because you know
you will include our team. We are part of the NFL, and until the team is sold, you will recognize that. I saw you skip over it. I was following the order, and I waited patiently because I was like, perhaps Mac is just going to let me go last because I'm on the panel. But then you moved on to another subject.
Very quickly.
Like, really? And I stayed on here the whole show today, and I was super busy. And you just hurt me.
And guess what? I'm super busy too, and I stayed on the show. So Sonia.
No, I'm making a prediction with the Panthers for next season.
Jack, you can go ahead and be muted now.
Who's going to be there?
Yeah, let's Sonia. Let's Sonia. We're picking today. I don't care about next year either. Let's. What do you got for your pick, Sonia? Because we're all going to disagree with you and think Atlanta's going to beat the hell out of them.
You really won't, to be honest. I'm not going to be a homer. We probably will lose today. The Falcons look good on both sides of the ball. They don't have any injuries. Their offense is high powered. Kirk Cousins looks like he's blending in and acclimating to the team well. They're coming off of a big win against another division rival. I mean, 2 points is a big win for them because they really could have swayed it the other way. Younghoe Koo with his powerful kicking leg, if nothing else, because we've seen the Falcons play games where there was no touchdown scored. Younghoe Koo is the force of that team. So even if this was a close game, I see the Falcons running the clock, game clock management, and eking it down to the last second to let Younghoe Koo kick a field goal, and we still lose the game. So even if we play the best, Falcons are going to find a way. Even though usually when we pull out a win, it is in Charlotte, and last year Bryce Young did beat them. So to be honest, I know that we probably will lose. I'm hoping we won't. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. If it is a blowout, I would be turning at halftime. So thanks for my time. So see, I told you guys I wouldn't disagree.
And Sonia, they're just banged up too. I mean, there's
we have a lot of injuries. Adam Thielen was questionable. I don't even know if he's coming back. Deontay Johnson. We never got Jonathan Brooks up and going. It's just a lot of holes across the board. And Shaq Thompson on the defense is a big void that is out for the Panthers.
So you guys, I mean, I don't know if any of you have watched it yet. It's Hernandez, right? It's a movie on Netflix about Hernandez, who from Bristol.
Hernandez,
from Bristol, right in my backyard. I knew about him when he played high school. He played at Bristol Central, I think it was the high school he went to. Was always a star. But he was always getting in trouble. And, they came out in this movie and they kind of tried to blame it on CTE, right? That he had so many injuries to the head. He got so many hits. Let me tell you, that had nothing to do with him committing all those crimes. He was in gangs affiliation when he was in grammar school. He did all this stuff. He got in trouble in high school. In Miami, they stayed away from him because he was crazy. He poked somebody's eye out. When he went to the Patriots, people would just stay away from the guy because they didn't know when he would explode. Even Tom Brady stayed away from this guy. I mean, on the field, he was a great athlete. Blew his whole future away by hooking up with some guy to kill somebody, and this guy was not the smartest guy in the world. He left evidence all over the place, and of course, he turned on Aaron Hernandez, and he's out now. In fact, he just got out. 2000. When was it? When did he get out? The kid from the Hernandez, Linda.
2019.
2021.
I thought it was 2018.
2018, you're close on you. 2018, and Hernandez is still going to stay in there for probably the rest of his life.
He committed suicide.
Forever. That's what I'm saying. His bones, his spirit, everything's in there. So there you go. So anyway, it's a shame, but that's what happens. You know, when you bring your posse with you, we've talked about this exhaustion, me and Jack and other people, probably you guys too. You can't bring your posse with you when you go on, and you're guys from the hood, and you got to get out there, and they're going to get on your coattails, and they're going to ride them. It's okay to go back and help out. A lot of players do that, right? They go back to the neighborhood, give money, help build things, set up scholarships, but you don't bring the garbage with you to the NFL.
You know what it is? These guys, instead of getting professional security, getting a couple of guys to accompany you if you have a fortune of money, they get their friends, and their friends aren't professionals. They don't know how to de-escalate a situation. The idea of de-escalating a situation is telling someone else, I'm going to bust you right in the face if you do so and so, if you go near my, my homie.
Perfect timing.
I mean, that's not that's just making it worse. And
Right.
so it's important to get professional security if you really need any type of security. I have friends who are very level-headed, who could talk to others, and they're going to keep you out of trouble and not get in it themselves.
Again, it depends on where you come from and where Aaron Hernandez came from, which was gang-riddled with the Cribs and everything in Bristol. I know. I watched it on TV. I seen it there. So anyway, up at the top, guys, is Cheap Seats. Remember, go to Cheap Seats. I get the best deals on tickets, best concerts, the best games you go to. You go to NFL games, baseball games, hockey games. They're all right there at SeatGeek. And just use the NSS promo code to pick up your first ticket purchase. You get money off. Use the NSS promo code again. Gives you great deals in the future. So go ahead and use that code. Go ahead and get yourself some nice tickets and some great deals that you saw by the commercial. We're out of here, guys. You got the NFL Download Show with me and James, and special guest. I'm going to make sure Frank Laterzo comes in tonight. Frank Laterzo, a lifetime Miami Dolphin fan who is very entertaining at the very least. So he should be on with us tonight, and to give about 7:30 p.m. Like I said, I'll make sure he gets the text to make sure he makes it on. If not, well, then you don't. So anyway, folks, again, have a great day. Glad you all joined us. Of course, we'll be on YouTube and the other sites. We'll be on Roku at 4. If you missed part of the show, we'll be live there at 4. Have a great day. Enjoy your football games. And as I always say,